Hi from Crusaders headquarters. I am King Nico, and if you're watching this, you are the resistance. So we're continuing on our series and investigation here into the reign of fallen angels. So we've covered parts of Asia, parts of Europe, parts of Africa, South America. Haven't really stepped into North America yet with Canada and the States, but we will for sure. But there's so much to see everywhere else in the world. We've done the islands. We've gone to Cuba, Jamaica. J7 says, let's do this. Welcome. I hope you're having a great Friday night evening. It's just 9:30 over here on the East Coast. So I thought we'd start back in Rome because I found a really good tour in regards to the Piazza Venezia. So quickly, so I have a Shanghai tour planned out in China to a few buildings and sites to see in China as we're back here in Rome, Italy. We've gone through the Vatican, we've gone through the Palace of Caserta, we've gone through some of the basilicas and churches. There are so many. So many. The signs and the symbolism, we're just going to have to do a whole show just for the churches in Rome alone. And Florence in Firenze. True Christian says, let's go. Good to see you. And Love Butterfly says, good evening, Nico. Can't wait to travel. So we're walking down here in Rome. As we approach Piazza Venezia, right here in the city, you can already see many angel statues represented right here at the front. You see the outstretched wings of angels, more fallen angel structures in the background. So this channel is the Roma walking tour. So this one channel has toured the whole of Rome, all of the churches, basilicas, palaces, anything to do with Rome. So it's a good channel. Let's see everything in 4K, very well documented. This structure is just absolutely incredible. It does take your breath away. Just the sheer size and enormity of this structure. It's not a building. It's not a palace. It's not an office. It's not a house or a mansion. It's just a status symbol. It's the sign and symbol of dominance from the fallen angels that came here to show power, to show separation between mankind and the fallen angels, that yes, you live in mud huts, you're only strong enough and intelligent enough to create out of sticks and mud, but yet we're here and we have the finest materials, limestones, marble, gold. So we just walked up one flight of stairs and we were surrounded by solid rock, designs in the floorway, so many statues, probably telling a story right here. There's royal Italian guards guarding this facility. As you can see, there's one guard there and one guard there, and they are armed. Look at the flooring. Exquisite designs in an outdoor monument. The angels did not know how to create bland, plain, and boring. Everything the fallen angels did was what they knew and what they saw and what their powers would allow them to accomplish and achieve, which was pure heavenly greatness. Anything and everything they created was catered for as a palace, basically. Even just a small basic cafe shop was good enough for a one-bedroom palace. Would you like minimal size properties like this? Having a your You can't hear me over the background noise of the video, so let me mute it. So yeah, I muted the babblers just to get some sounds of Roma, just so you can feel like you're actually there. As we're heading up, so as we head up this flight of stairs, just look at the size of this statue. Look at the size of the podium, the solid stone podium that it's placed upon. Look at the other statues as we glance around and back as people are starting to look smaller. And just the designs around the base. Why does there have to be a statue here, another statue of another person, statue? I'm going to show you how difficult it is to actually carve these statues, especially with material flowing. It's pretty incredible. So I'm sorry you couldn't hear me before. I'm not sure why my mic is not, should be loud and well above the sounds of Rome there. Again, another flight of stairs. And this whole structure is just outside, has just been created and left here. You can know and see easily who created it and who left it. As you see, principality angels decked out on every level, from the entranceway to the first flight of stairs to the second flight, and then the third flight. And then we'll see that across the whole top of the structure, there's more principality and power angels lounging on top, on horses, complete dominance. It's like it's just a sheer victory piece. They call them victory squares or victory monuments. Victory for who? Why does every nation have some victory? Again, which war did you fight against and have this victory? As you can see, the angels on top on their horses. There's the columns, massive, so many, all equally spaced out. The solid limestone rocks, just stacked upon stacked. Like this is basically a mini mountain here, this structure. A mini limestone marble mountain. Sorry, I couldn't hear that, but I'm glad you guys mentioned it. Fallen angel, yes, Maylor. So Maylor says Anunnaki, reptilian, negative faction, fallen angel. So yeah, basically when they're referring to these different names, it's all to do with the fallen angels, just rebranded. Annette says, greetings all. Good evening, Annette. We're at the Piazza Venezia in Rome, Italy. And look how high up we are already, as we're already looking over the city. Turn it down a bit. So we have angel on one column right there. We have another angel on another column. So you got to understand and look at the positioning and the placements of them on a structure such as this. So what are they doing there? They're not slaves. It's showing dominance. It's showing victory as they blow their trumpets that they're ruling over this earth and over man, humanity, us. So look how small this guy is right here. And look at just look at the height of this. So imagine him and just imagine all these people are just construction workers back in 500, 600 years ago, whatever they're saying is the construction date for this monument. Just imagine them with their limited materials, limited tools. How is this possible? It is so flush. It is so perfect. I'm going to show you the process of mining for limestone and marble in today's world. And you'll be alarmed and amazed to see just how difficult it is. So we're touring this piazza, and as we're going and climbing higher on this monument, we've been outside the whole time. Only at the top does it have a covered roof and a walkway. I believe there might be a small area on the inside that they've converted into a galleria. So as you can see, people are taking pictures. Just feel the size. Look how small we are as we look up at least 40, 50 feet of solid rock decked out in all kinds of intricate designs, impossible, very difficult. Difficulty level is just incredible, like maximum, peak difficulty level. Hi, Nico. So glad to watch you live. Looking forward to another tour. And says, hi, chat and blessings. Yeah, the chat is already awesome this evening. Look at the designs in the walkway as we get a very good perspective and a feel what it's like to be at the top. Look at the marble floors. Look at the design. How did they get it so perfectly like this? Measured out piece by piece, color by color, design by design. I'm going to show you just how hard it is to accumulate such marble and be able to get it to fit perfectly in your palace, in your structure, in your theater. In every structure we've seen, the dominant material used is limestone, is marble. In particular, when it comes to the columns on the insides of the palaces. So as we're looking over Rome now, let me pause it and get a feel. Just look how big this horse statue is. What is it with the people on the horses? Like what went on? I'm sure we're going to uncover this secret sooner than later as we tour the palaces worldwide, as we tour all the churches, and we realize that the story has been left for us to decode. The angels up there, very proud, very commanding with their poses as they look upon the whole city. So they are the watchers, right? The watchers watching over the city, gazing over all areas, every corner of the city, every alleyway, every city square. The people look very small, and down their street, there's the regular traffic is pretty far down there. Alina Hart, good evening, says, hello, everyone. So blessed to have you, Nico, spreading knowledge on this live. Yes. The reign of fallen angels. This is what we're witnessing and exploring and investigating and pretty much uncovering. Because without a doubt, there is no other civilization that could have accomplished such a feat worldwide, according to the timeline. So was that a flat earth diagram on the floor? I can't quite tell, but it looks like it might have been. So we're going to have to do a rewind. Yeah, the size of this thing, to put this, like, why would this be built, Annette? And it's not even a palace. It's just a massive structure. So we're going to play it back because True Christian said he might have seen something. Hopefully this is back far enough. But yeah, the size is just beyond massive. Yeah, absolutely massive. And we're yet to go inside and see any rooms, washroom, bathroom, dining room. There's nothing of the sort. So imagine the struggle to put something like this together so intricately, so perfectly, just to have a use of bare nothingness, just to hang out on and walk around. This is a nice outdoor courtyard with marble floors here with your angel statues and your dude on a horse. This is a nice covered walkway, but you're still outside. There's no doors to close, there's no windows. It's just the pillars and a marble walkway that's absolutely exquisite with all different shades, all perfectly cut to make a design. So it's like, yeah, let's show up to work and make our jobs that much more harder, as hard as possibly be. Like no corners were cut when putting these structures together. As we approach the end of one side, so we just walk from one side of the piazza to the other, as we get some more amazing views from around Rome here. As we look up and just the wow. Yeah, analyze the circles in the middle of the pavement. So we're just over here. Let me see. I don't think it's a flat Earth map, but it's definitely round. Can we zoom in a bit as we try and look into another one here? I think it's just the design and the marble and the stone. Yeah, no specific design in particular, but how incredible that would be to have maps on the floor in marble. Again, look at the view we get as you see the angels, how they're viewed coming through this part and opening here. It's just just look at that, how they're viewed through each reveal between the columns. It's just so purposefully done. Like, here we go. See how they reveal through as they stand upon their podiums. As you also get a nice panoramic view of the city of Rome. As you can see, another old fallen angel structure here. There's a construction site, typical with any city worldwide. You're going to see that. The columns, the designs in them, the angels everywhere, the wings. No sign of any other civilization. Wow, just the length of it. You could could throw a wedding here, right? Any kind of event or gala would be, very lavish. Considering the weather is as nice as it is right now, it's beautiful. Barbecues, dinners, like right here, perfect. I wonder if they do that. So look, we do get. Are we entering inside this structure now? So it does have a bit of an inside as it cuts to another sign here. Yeah, maybe it's not a map exactly, but still designed to be showing the basic general idea of a flat Earth. Yeah, a round circular disc shape with land masses upon it, and with water in between. Correct. Considering the angels and their dominance of this world and their cities, I wouldn't put it past them to have that. So let's speed it up and try and get inside of this structure. So different levels, people are taking pictures from all angles, all types of tourists and locals. Of course, the locals will be going to visit. Oh, there is this a sit down area to dine. So they do have a dining area, it looks like. I don't really see too many people eating or drinking, but I do see tables and seats. There's a conservatory there with tables. Yep, there is drinks and beverages and foods. Like, are we still on the facility? Like, So there's a terrazza on it somewhere, or did he go somewhere else? Are we still on the same structure? Yeah, we are. Oh, on the roof. They have like a roof terrace restaurant cafe as we get higher up. And wow, but basically on the roof now, look, we're right next to the angels on top. Look how big they are with their horses and their carriages. We're basically right up with them now. Just incredible. Wow. Rome, a famous Italian city, as we walk across the roof here and just take in the sights and a little bit of the sounds, seagulls pecking away on the fallen angel structure, as you can see for miles in any direction from up here. You can see the quality of the artwork of this structure compared to the rest of the city. Oh, there's an elevator here that takes you up. The statues are never ending. They're all completed perfectly without error. Angels, massive, higher. No one is higher than the fallen angels of any city. They truly are the watchers, right? As look how high up he is watching, and there you can get a taste of the view of the angels, whether it's a statue or whatever they are, they're there. So we're walking across the roof, taking in the views, taking in the size of the statue that is up there so high up. It doesn't add up to me why humans would create a structure like this and put creatures such as an angel on top. Nothing makes sense. So we're walking across another part of this structure now, and I think it's going to take us to a little area inside. This is what I wanted to see, just, because again, the difficulty to put something like this together, to accumulate the marble and the stone and the workers and the carvers in a time when these types of necessities were just so far-fetched, especially marble. Yes, this is Italy, and the marble where they mine and the quarry is also from Italy, a famous, like, you have people talking about marble all the time, like, oh, this is Italian marble, right? It's very famous. So I'm going to take you to that quarry as we finish up here in Rome, just to give you an idea of where this rock is coming from and how it's formed and the struggle of mining for it. So this is an area on the inside of the Piazza. So it's like a little museum gallery area with pictures, with statues. As you can see, look at the hall. So wow, it's curving too. So again, they like to curve their impossible structures just to add that much more difficulty to something already considered difficult, considering the size and the area that it will be taking up and the materials that will be required to put it together. So as you can see, we've been through some of the best museums and galleries in the world, for example, the Louvre. So this is not anywhere near, but where it is in the Piazza is quite exciting. And this is one of the first times I've been inside of it, knowing now that we can go inside of it. Relax. So again, think of the use of this. Did they really construct such a magnificent, gigantic piece of marble and stone in the center of Rome just to store some paintings and some war memorabilia and some old nun outfits? Come on. Exactly, Annette. What if the statues are real and are just in stasis, right? They must be connected some way, form or another. It must be their way of channeling some form of energy over the world, where because they are imprisoned, right? There's no doubt about that. God imprisoned them, but they still have like it's like a link to the earth. It's like, you know, we see it online. We see prisoners have cell phones in prison now. They're on Instagram. They're posting TikToks of watching sport on TV or playing PlayStation in prison, right? So it's the same thing. These statues may be the angels' way of still being in touch with the outside world, even though they're in prison. So these statues is considering where they are and the amount of energy they could generate so high up in every city over rivers, fluid condensers. It's beyond our knowledge as we walk through all their palaces and still are mind blown at how they could have put these things together, which is why I'm going to take you to a marble quarry because in my mind, I'm like, how did they get the stone? This is marble. It's hard. It's not. It doesn't just grow in your backyard and you just mold it into any statue and make wings for angels and pillars 40 feet tall, right? It doesn't work that way. So I looked into everything, the stone, because we've seen these palaces all across this earth, many in multiple cities, right? And it's just mass amounts of this difficult, hard to mine material. But in the so-called 1800s, it was just, everyone was just giving out marble to every nation to build a palace. Exactly. All their modern signs and plastic screens and cases just look ridiculous in these structures. That's why I said, did they really make this thing just to hold some paintings and some crappy war memorabilia from a fake war, mind you? Okay, so let's get to Carrara marble. So we're going to explore, as you can see here quickly. Let's go to this video. So inside Italy's 1 billion marble mountains. So marble comes from an actual mountain. As you can see, the machinery struggling just to cut through the marble. Look at the tools that they have to use.
David.
Oh, Masonic. So I don't want to play any more of this video. It's probably going to get copywritten, but I just wanted to show you some of that. So let me get to another video. Let's see this video. So we're at Carrara Marble, Rome's white gold. So it's out here in the mountains. Remember, this marble only can be found in certain parts of the world. You're not going to find it anywhere. This white marble, you can only find here in Italy, and possibly, I believe, India has a white marble mountain. Other colors like the pink marble come from the Middle East. The black marble comes from Belgium, is known for this dark black marble. Slade, good evening, Slade. We're here. We just toured the Piazza Venezia in Rome. We're seeing a lot of marble in all of these palaces, so I thought I'd take you to a marble mountain. Thank you. Yes, it makes sense to look at the marble production. Good call. So I don't want to get copywritten by any of these videos, but I just want to take you to a quarry. So as the drone, as you can see here, this is the mountain where they mine for this white marble. Just white. There's no other color here. It's just white marble. As you can see, they've chipped into the mountain. As you can see, it's got all these cuts at 90-degree angles. They cut it into little blocks and squares and then push it out and then drag it away. And like this is with modern tools, right? So I want you to use your mind Think about these palaces, especially the Louvre, they said was constructed over 800 years, 8 centuries, starting in like the 13th century. So there's no trains, there's no cars, there's nothing of the sort, no power tools, no electricity. So how were these people, this limited civilization when it comes to knowledge and power tools, how are they able to know about this mountain? How are they going up there with hammer and chisel and chiseling away? And then how are they getting it back? The horse and carriage doesn't make sense because the carriage is made out of wood. The horses aren't going to pull 50-ton bricks of marble, right? The marble's not good. It's going to, oh God, when I've seen the marble buckles, the machines that, okay, this video is not good. Let's just get to a marble production video.
Extracting Calicut marble doesn't always go as planned.
See it breaking? So it doesn't always go as planned. So we're looking at modern day mining of this marble that we find in every part of the world in fallen angel structures.
Però si pensava che non andasse, invece è andato e si è aperto.
It'll take more work to fix, but luckily it's still usable. And in 4D,
so notice how they cut them all into these rectangle square shapes. Notice the size of them. So this is the size that they can manage. Notice that they're not all identical. A lot of them crack and break because it's not a perfect mining process. Look at the power tools used, cranes, and look what they turn it into, to countertops, right? Not marble columns for palaces, right? Look at them. Look at the mountain as they chip away. The process is absolutely ridiculous.
But Calcutta marble isn't just any kind of marble. A square foot of some Calcutta can cost over $400, more than 4 times the price.
Yeah, very expensive. Look where it's found. So look at the tools. Look at very, it doesn't look very futuristic, does it? So this is how they wedge it away from the wall. They put rubble. And then they just push it off the side of the mountain and hope that it doesn't break. And then they transport it back to a facility that washes it, cuts it up, all power tools. You're not going to find hammer and chisels, even though it does look very cavemanish. The only thing looking modern is that there's modern tools and electricity to cut through it. Otherwise, it's a very difficult process. This is it. It's very difficult. As you see, it breaks. Let me see. They break it by accident. A defect comes that maybe we didn't expect. So when you overturn the block, so they explain, so you can watch any series or documentary or video on these marble extractions and mining as they drill holes, as they put these diamond nail cutters and wrap it around to shape out the square. And look, as they push stones in between, not very high tech as you'd expect, as their saw struggles to cut through a block. This is the process, how to extract it today. And what I want you to understand is how were they able to do this centuries ago? Centuries ago. So I'm worried I'm going to get copywritten for this. They're using cranes to hoist it. They're using things to polish and power tools, not manpower. It's all tools in that's getting this out of there. These guys could not have done it with the tools they've gone there with.
We are in Tuscany. And you just dig and you're like, oh, it melts in your mouth. We are inside the stomach of a mountain.
Esatto.
Yeah, I'm just going to take you through whatever videos, because everyone always
The
refers
Pietà
to...
of Michelangelo.
So they always refer to Michelangelo and the statues, because that's who our governments have assigned who sculpted these statues. They say Michelangelo sculpted these statues out of marble. And I'm going to show you that no one today can sculpt marble the way anything close to what we see in and around Rome. As everyone would tell you, it's difficult. It cracks easy. It's very fragile. Once it breaks, you're done. So
chisel and hammer. The Roma start on the top of the mountain. Now it's not possible to cut the top of the mountain. You imagine this is a mountain. The Roma arrive, clean the top of the mountain, arrive to the marble. The marble have more natural crack, more parallel natural crack. One natural crack in this direction, another natural crack in this direction. The man take this, realize a line for connecting the two natural crack, and after start, slowly realize a little line for connecting the two natural crack.
there's
The
no
second
way
man, the
they
third,
hammer
the fourth,
and
large
chisel
for
their
90,
way
95
through marble
centimeters,
mountain.
along the distance of the two natural crack. And after start again, and enter inside in the mountain for 1 meter, 20 centimeters. 3 months, 4 months for less this big hole.
Because your objective is to get a block.
A block, yes.
You want a block.
Depends,
okay.
exactly. When I finish to realize this big hole, put inside in the base this, and with the hammer, crush the marble in this direction. Very long work, very hard work. The system changed in 1898 with this. The name of this is filo elicoidale, helicoidal cable, 3 iron cable. Move this with the electric machine, and with this, touch the marble. But why touch the marble, not cut the marble? Because this is not cut. But cut with water and sand.
Yeah.
With the
How
sand,
did it end
cut
up
the marble.
anywhere?
With this system, cut more or less 7-8 centimeters every hour.
So how were they able to, even the Italians 1,000 years ago, how were they able to extract the marble? Like, don't even worry about how they knew it was there. They knew it was there, whatever. They saw it, someone went hiking, they saw this rock, and they said, let's take it and make some pillars and palaces. How did they get it? How did they chip into it? As you can see him with the hammer and chisel, it does not fit what they tell us. How did they get it, chip it away from the mountain? And then even if they were able to chip into the mountain and get a nice big block off of the mountain, how did they get it from the mountain into wherever they needed it, to the city? How did they turn that rock into a pillar, into a statue with the tool? It doesn't add up. So thank you. I see Annette says it shows up in middle of little old Illinois in the cemeteries. When did Carrara marble been installed? Does anybody know? Back in ancient Rome with horse and buggy, there's no way they're going to carry all that heavy marble. Yeah, a lot of masons in these documentaries, when they're talking about this, because they're pushing a false narrative, right? This is all riveting, says Alina Hart. Especially up in the mountains with no roads. Exactly. No roads.
But 35 years ago, the new invention is this. The name of this is a filo diamantato, diamond cable, not natural diamond, a synthetic diamond. The system is the same. Move and cut the marble, cut with the diamond and use the water. The difference is the speed. With this 30-35 square meter every hour. Now it's very fast.
Because it's mechanical. Now
Exactly.
you have two
With the electric machine and turn around to the big wheel, giant wheel, and move. Now go on the top and display the instruction now.
So they're going to try and explain how they were able to mine and get marble back centuries ago. So let me quickly go to ChatGPT. We're going to quickly talk to it and ask it quickly before we continue on. So, marble. Where does marble come from? So marble comes from limestone. It's a type of sedimentary rock that forms from layers of shells, coral, and other calcium-rich materials on the ocean floor. So here's how it turns into marble. So limestone forms, and over millions of years, right, whatever, marine organisms die and their remains pile up, creating limestone. Heat and pressure underground. When limestone gets buried deep in the earth, it's exposed to intense heat and pressure from tectonic forces. The process recrystallizes the limestone, changing its structure and making it harder and more compact. This new rock is marble, and that process is metamorphism. So mining. Marble is then extracted from quarries, large open pits or underground mines in places like Italy, India, Turkey, and Greece. So you only find marble predominantly in these places, especially with certain colors. So marble is basically cooked and compressed limestone formed deep inside the earth over long periods of time. All right, so we find marble in palaces worldwide. Palaces said to have been constructed in the 5th century, say, right? How did they mine for marble? So people in the 5th century absolutely had the ability to quarry and shape marble. Marble mining is much older than that. Ancient civilizations had been doing it for centuries before then, including the Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, Persians, and others. So how marble was mined in antiquity? So finding exposed deposits, they usually quarried marble where it naturally outcropped on hillsides or mountains. So cutting blocks from the mountain. So workers used hand tools such as iron chisels, hammers, picks, wedges, and levers. So do not listen to ChatGPT. ChatGPT and AI and the whole of the internet is one big, gigantic liar. So I already asked it some of these questions before, and I started laughing when it started to try to convince me how these people mined for marble centuries ago. And the more that we get closer to the truth and we start asking questions that the system doesn't expect you to answer, we catch it off guard and it starts to look ridiculous as it tries to push a stupid lie that it convinced you was true back when we were like 7 years young as kids in school, and then that's it. They trap you in society with work and life, right? And they don't expect you to come back and be like, hold on a second, that's not adding up. Yeah, Slade, so many layers of lies. True Christian said, that's BS. There is no such thing as millions of years. That one for sure, big lie. So I'm glad you guys are all catching on. Annette says BS. Robin's laughing. AI says Carrara marble was formed roughly 190 million years ago. There's no way possible. So I'm glad. Oh, Sue made it late, but made it. Says hi, Nico, and everyone. So as we listen and point out the lies, but you got to understand, this is AI. This is the whole internet's information on any subject. Any school you go to, it's going to tell you the same thing. The video we're watching now is going to show us and tell us the same thing. So this is the collective of the false narrative that they want to push. And the more that push it and the more that take it in, the lie becomes the truth. But I'm not here to believe a lie. I'm here to catch the lie out because the truth is way more powerful. The truth is the lie is the darkness, and the lie cannot exist in the presence of the truth. So the fact that they're lying means they're hiding something, which means that the rain of fallen angels is what is being hidden and why it is important for what we're doing here now to expose and investigate. So let's catch this thing out some more. So iron chisels, so splitting the stone. They could split marble by hammering metal wedges into cracks. They would then insert dry wooden wedges, then soaking them with water as the wood expanded. It exerted pressure and helped crack the stone free. Wow. So that's exactly what we see in the process today. So it doesn't seem like anything's changed. So rough shaping at the quarry. So because marble is extremely heavy, workers often partially shaped columns, slabs, or statues at the quarry before transport. So wait, so not only were these construction workers experts at chiseling into mountains and extracting rock, they would then shape it into columns and whatever to save for weight while at the quarry before transporting it. And we're supposed to believe that. Right? Let's see what other lies the AI wants to tell us. So the transport, which was then often the hardest part. Of course, they didn't have vehicles and engines back then. So how the hell did they move 50-ton blocks of marble after they just spent all their energy with hammers and chisels, chiseling away at the mountain just to free up a block, if that was the case? So they moved the marble by sledges dragged by animals or workers. This is going to get funny. So this is how they moved the marble centuries ago. They got animals, so animals and workers, rollers made of logs. So they put out logs on the path and drag it on these logs. Carts, river barges. So they drag it to a barge and push it down the river. So the barge wouldn't sink with 50-ton marble slabs upon it. That's not adding up. Sea ships for long distances. So they were just dragging this marble with animals, right? Which is not adding up. So why the 5th century palaces could use marble? Because by the 5th century, quarrying knowledge was already ancient and highly developed. Major quarries such as Carrara in Italy and Pentelicus mountain quarries had supplied marble for centuries. When a palace is said to be from the 5th century, parts of it may have been rebuilt, renovated, or refaced. Okay, so, the marble is heavy. How in horse and carriage era was this possible? Pulling it and dragging it does not sound believable. As the marble would crack and break, as the marble would crack and break and turn to sand by the time it got anywhere to its destination. There we go. This thing is trying to talk to us like we're stupid and tell us that back then in the 5th century, they were dragging 50-ton blocks. Okay, it sounds unbelievable at first because we tend to imagine modern polished marble slabs being yanked down dirt roads. That is not how it was usually done. So marble can crack if mishandled, but a large rough block under compression is surprisingly durable. It does not grind into sand from dragging. Marble floors wear slowly over centuries of footsteps. Transport over days or weeks would not reduce a block to sand. So it's obviously offended that I said that. So how they prevented breakage. They transported as rough blocks, not finished pieces. So they usually moved oversized raw blocks first, then carved them near the building site. That means chips and surface damage were acceptable. So it supported the load evenly. So cracks happen from twisting, bouncing, or point pressure. Ancient engineers reduced this by using timber sledges, padded cradles, rope lashings, rollers, logs, and prepared roads or ramps. None of this sounds doable. So a block resting on a flat timber frame is much safer than hanging unevenly. They use waterways whenever possible. So like we're in between the mountain. The water is nowhere close. It's not, so it keeps dragging us around, beating around the bush, not telling us the facts we need to know. How did they get the marble out the mountain, away from the mountain, into anywhere, right? Ancient people were excellent engineers. That's it. That's the important reality check. Just because you're saying it, that means they were. I'm not seeing it. The same societies that moved multi-ton columns, granite obelisks, bronze statuary, temple stones weighing tens of tons, also knew how to move marble. None of this has been proven. So you see how AI likes to throw in these sayings as like they're facts because it's what the government is pushing out in all curriculums and all textbooks. It's crap. Not so it's listed off columns that people were able to do this. That's proof that humans, especially ancient people, are some kind of master engineers, that they were just dragging rock out of mountains and putting up palaces and statues of David. BS. I see the comments going crazy. Thank you, everyone. Love Butterfly says, well said, Nico. Mike says, what do you think of the statue of David? Perhaps some pre-flood guy from Cain's line. Correct. It has nothing to do with Michelangelo. No dude carved that out of marble. It's impossible. So heavy, says Sue. Yeah, it's crazy. We fell for it. Of course we're going to fall for it. They tell this story to us when we're 7 years old. We're in like grade 1, right? They get us quick. They tell us the BS of space and the globe very young, because we're too young to even question adult authority. So we just take it as the truth. But we don't get the time again as adults to revisit, right? Marissa says, thank you for all you do. Appreciate you, Marissa. We got to do another Transpocalypse show soon. Our last one's well over 3,000 views already. So very popular video. So hopefully we could do another one soon. Yeah, exactly. Love Butterfly. If you haven't already, like the video, share it, subscribe. So thank you, everyone, and bless you. Okay, let's get back to what this thing is lying to us about. Then we'll get back to the video. So this is a lie. This has not been proven that the multi-ton columns were done by humans. There's no evidence of it, especially the granite obelisk, bronze statuary, and temple stones weighing tens of tons. This is what we're investigating. There is no evidence that any ancient race was capable of doing this, because we still can't do it today without the struggle. We're breaking blocks of marble. You think today we'd just be laser cutting this and flying it around the world. That's not what's happening. So we picture one horse pulling a palace slab. In reality, it could involve teams of oxen. So this thing is telling me now that horses were not pulling the marble. It was teams of oxen, better than horses for pulling. So it's an animal, but not a horse. It was teams of oxen would drag the marble from the mountain. There was capstans and winches, dozens of hundreds of laborers, so like hundreds of people, laborers, right? Rollers changed continuously. So they'd run around, drag the wood to roll it along and keep placing it down. Again, impossible. For the amount of marble columns we see, this process doesn't add up, right? Barges and cranes. So yes, it was difficult and expensive. That's why marble signaled wealth and power, but it was entirely achievable with manpower, animals, timber, engineering. No, okay, the boats would sink, first of all. The boats would sink back then. There's no way boats could transport marble. The marble would outweigh any boat they would try and put it on. Everything you're telling me is absolute shit. Is BS and has not ever been proven to be the work of ancient human engineering. So I hear your skepticism. Moving multi-ton stone sounds counterintuitive, especially if we picture small wooden carts and fragile boats. But boats would sink isn't how buoyancy works. Okay, science lesson here from the AI, the liar of all lies. So why heavy stone does not automatically sink a boat? A boat sinks when its total weight exceeds the water it can displace, not because one item aboard is heavy. A wooden barge can carry many tons if it has enough volume and hey, this is talking crap. You're not going to BS me into believing this was what was happening. So ancient boats were larger than many people imagine. Ancient Mediterranean, Nile, and river barges were built specifically for cargo. Roads, harbors, cranes. There were no cranes. Stop saying cranes. Like archaeologists have found Roman cranes as pulley systems. So manpower. So no engines. They would have some kind of pulley system. Manpower, they still wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm guessing there's boats. Hold on, sorry, I'm guessing there are boats sunken in the sea because they tried to transport marble, which is absolute BS. Exactly. Yes, there are ancient shipwrecks in the Mediterranean and elsewhere that carried stone cargo, including marble. So that's actually one of the strongest forms of evidence that marble was transported by sea. Some ships failed, sank in storms, grounded, or were otherwise lost. No, that's not the strongest form of evidence that marble was transported by sea. That's the strongest form of evidence that marble could not be transported by sea because you have sunken ships at the bottom of the sea where the marble was trying to go somewhere and they were stupid and realized, no, this stuff's too heavy. We're going to sink. That's why there's ships at the bottom of the sea. Okay, let's get back to the video. AI is such a liar. It cannot give us a straight answer onto how they were able to get the marble from the mountain. So let's see what this tells us. Oh, sorry, I don't need that music. So this guy has recreated the system, I guess, of how Michelangelo's day they were able to mine and chisel this marble. So they have some kind of Masonic crap explanation for how any of this, and the Romans did whatnot. They did nothing. The Romans were just a bunch of drunks. Okay, let's get to.
In Tree Valley, you have 187 quarry, only 85 in activity, 25% are private, and for the other, the people have a license for 29 years. Every quarry have name and number, and the name no change in the time. For cutting the marble now, it's very easy and very fast. It's possible to take the marble inside or outside, but the system is the same. You start on the top and go down. Okay, when I arrive on the top, you see the monte are cut in similar a big step. Every single step, the name is bancata, bench. For cut the bench, put on the base this big rail, on top this big saw. This big saw have two movements. The first movement is vertical. The second movement is turned parallel to the ground. Start the engine and then translate to the base for 3 meters. Move on top the rail and cut the base for 3 meters inside. When I finish to cut the
Look at the tools needed today just to get one block. And when they still struggle with that block. As you can see, the process, they have to cut from the bottom, cut from the side, cut from the top, and then they push it off a bit, wedge it, and then slowly push until, look, that's how they cut through it. Look at the system. They need tools, and it still looks ridiculous and ancient. It doesn't look like a perfect process. It doesn't look like this process is how anything was done to create any of these palaces. Yeah, floors, you could see. He said it's easy to cut now. Look how the size of this block. How are they moving blocks that size? This is crap. None of these pictures are all fake. All ancient pictures are faked, especially. So there's the log system where they'd roll it with the teams of the oxen pulling it. Let's go back to that, because that's what AI told us how they did it.
Look.
It's long, 19 meters.
The man compared to the stone.
For
This
2.5,
stone could not be pulled by
350
look.
tons, 72 oxen from
So they show the system, but they don't show the marble being pulled by it, right? They just show a system to roll things, but that's definitely not how marble was being transported from the mountain into town. That's exactly what AI told us. That's exactly what this video is trying to tell us, but we're still not seeing it.
Bring down in the city. 6 months for arriving here to the sea, 2 years for arriving in Rome. This is in front of the Olympic Stadium in Rome now. It's a big obelisk with the right Mussolini Dukes.
See.
Right? Marble. Not easy to get. As we skip through some of these videos, you can see some of the pictures of what they're trying to depict, how it was mined. That's fake. As you can see, look at the people. This is a fake image. They're trying to say that whatever's in here is marble from the mountain and they're just sliding it down. That is not how it happened. This image is so doctored. Oh, sickening how they lie and fake history. They're trying to say that they were able to, they didn't even show the rock. How did they lift it out this size? This is at least 100, like beyond. This is, come on. The lies. History is a lie. Everything they tell us is a lie to hide, to cover up the fact that the angels reigned here on earth. With all our fancy tools, all we're doing is cutting tiles and countertops. We're not making these gigantic columns that we find worldwide. Okay, let's go to another video. So inside Italy's marble quarry. Look at this mountain. There's no way centuries ago they were up here chiseling away and dragging marble from this mountain without modern day tools. You can see the process is very whatever. There's nothing scientific about the process. It's just cut the rock, push it off, and drag it away. And because we have modern tools, that's what they're doing. Possibly, that's a very good idea. The Giants definitely could have played a role as they were big and would have had an easy time if that was a part of the process to transport things. You're right. Good looking out. So did anyone even know about these marble mountains and these quarries? It's insane. The process that they go through with these simple tools. And look at the way they just put it on. Like, this is today, the difficulty of transporting one rock. How did they do this? Because whatever they told us and tried to show is not adding up. It's not a valid explanation for history. But yet the palaces are there and they're perfect. Just look. So now look, there's the wedge system. They're going to put the rocks down and then drag it off the wall. They put the dirt there to hope that it doesn't break. Oh, it broke. See? Look at the way it just crumbled apart. That's not what you want to happen. You want it to be a perfect block, but you can't always get what you want when this is the best system you have for mining. Look at the size of this place. That is all marble rock metamorphosed from limestone over decades and centuries, not millions of years. Exactly. And the Illinois state capitol in Springfield is made with 16 different types of marble. This is exactly my point, Annette, that all these palaces have all the rarest marble, right? So it's understandable now that Italy, because the mountains there in Italy would have lots of marble in their palaces, even though they're only known for white marble, but in their palaces they have red, pink, or all the color marbles, right? And they needed it. So why, when if you look at all the history, all the dates say, oh, in the 1800s this, Italy built this, and in the 1800s Turkey was this, and this country was this, but they all have the same Italian marble. So if Italy was using and mining their own mountain for their own marble, like, was there a trade going on? Were people sharing marble? Like, how is it getting around? Like, it doesn't make sense. How were people communicating? We didn't have internet. There were no phones. The mailing system probably wasn't even set up yet. So none of it adds up. How any of these nations acquired any of this marble and any of this rock when it only can be found in certain places, which means, like, we know these nations went to war over a lot less than marble, right? Marble would have been a huge thing, an understandable war. They're like, yeah, we're trying to build a palace. You have marble. We want your mountain. Let's go get it. But we don't hear that. We have people go into war over women and more ridiculous things, right? So how was marble shared worldwide to build all these palaces, to build these state capitol buildings like the one in Illinois? The Taj Mahal has marble. It's a whole marble palace, right? So again, we can watch these all day. We know how they do it today, but people aren't carving it. And when they try, they just look ridiculous trying to carve marble, right? But yet they compare it to the statue of David. There's the Marble Mountain. It's ridiculous. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. So we're going to get off this. Then we're going to go to China quickly. My channel. So I made a playlist. You go to the playlist. We go to Reign of Fallen Angels. And I've been adding videos here to go over with you all. And I think I got a bunch here from Shanghai. So we got a painting of a fallen angel. So we're going to go to China, right? Let's get out of Europe for a bit. Let's go for a walk in Shanghai, China. We're here on Nanjing Road, the Bund. So this is the famous road here in Shanghai called the Bund. So just going to take a breather and check out some sites here in Shanghai. And you'll be surprised to see some visuals you wouldn't expect to see and find in China, like this structure right here. So you can see they're hidden in plain sight in all the cities and all the nations in the world. Yep, gravity is not real. So welcome to China. We did visit Vietnam, also in Asia, where we went to Bana Hills. So here's the pathway we're walking today. So this is the Bund. It's along the waterway and it's curved. You see how it's curved? So this is where all the old fallen angel buildings are here in China, Shanghai, and it's called the Bund. So we need to get to the Bund and see what's going on. You can see the old world building right here on the right-hand side. There's the circuit board markings in the cement. Look at the structure here. Old world fallen angel building right here in China. So looking at it this close, you wouldn't know where you were in the world, especially the last place you would think you were was Shanghai. So welcome to Shanghai as we cover the buildings. This video is 5 months ago. So it's definitely still there. Everything I'm showing you, you can go and see right now today. There's the New World across the river. There's the Old World buildings stacked one by one by one. So let's quickly get to the Bund. As we're walking through the shopping walkway, as we're passing by Old World buildings, this person looks up there. You can see the columns out there. You can see the curving of the limestone. For this structure, we find all throughout Europe. We find all throughout South America, the Caribbean. There's another fallen angel structure there. You can see right here in the cement, where the energy travels through the lines that I pointed out. Here we are in Shanghai, the exact same thing. Wow, there's a LED giant fish tank screen there. Yeah, all the noise of Shanghai. So I just want to skip to the Bund. We don't need to see, but you can see the old world buildings are hidden amongst the city. So here's an old world fallen angel structure here, as you can tell from the outside. Here's one right across the street with the big Jordan logo, massive fallen angel building. You can see the stonework. You can see the signature of the angels, the intricate artwork around. And then humans just slap their plastic whatever on front and call it a shopping something. Yeah, it doesn't fit with Chinese architecture, but it's there. Once you walk around these cities and look for yourself, you see them there and you're like, huh, what on earth is a building like that doing here in Shanghai, China? Massive. Look at the lines on this one, goes way up here, 20 foot high. Another shopping pathway. You can see an old world building here with the green dome roof. Well, it's not really a dome, but it's a pyramid looking roof. As we pass by this old world structure here, look at the columns right at the top, like way above the people's heads. You wouldn't even see them if you didn't look up, but there it is. The signature of the fallen angels with the circuit boardery engraved in the limestone. Shanghai, China. The reign of fallen angels. So I can guarantee you that there is nowhere on this earth that we can visit and see that we're not going to find evidence that the fallen angels had already been there before we have. So let's quickly walk further down. Let's get in front of another building and see what's going on. So you can see old world buildings on the left, old world building on the right. You can see the new world with its lights and its whatnot, just so ridiculous compared to the old world structures. Wow, there it is right there, lit up on the right. They'll say it's neoclassical, Baroque, Victorian, but it's the reign of fallen angels. No matter where you go on this earth, you'll stumble upon one of these structures. And we're in Shanghai, China. So let's quickly get another look at it. Lit up here. We know what to look for now. We know how the angels liked their structures and buildings to look. And this is what we're seeing. Bank. Notice how it says bank at the top? Fallen angel structure with the columns. And of course, it's been repurposed as a bank. We see that everywhere. Wow, look at the circuitry in the blocks of stone here, massive, very rough stones, but neatly put, and it still has the exact same design. So this is the bank. I'm guessing that's another bank building. Very typical with what we see everywhere in the world. Tokyo, Japan. Well, the Bank of Japan is also in one of these buildings. Looks like this one right here. So that's boring. That's not exciting. That's just office buildings and condos with lights on it. Wow, so what? What's really interesting is these structures on the other side of the street that look like this in Shanghai, China. And as you can see from this angle here now, you can get an idea and a feel for just the sheer size of these repurposed structures that are now banks in China. And look at the people, so small, just walking by. There's a bus, massive. There's the columns high up, 20 feet in the air. The whole street is lined with old fallen angel buildings all along the Bund here in Shanghai. Again, the curving of this stone is just another giveaway that the angels were here. Yeah, China. So no one would expect to see this, and I'm not done with Shanghai yet. We've got a lot to see in China that's been hidden from us. Exactly, Ines says, looks like an old city section in Europe. Yeah, they don't tell you about these or show you these. So let's get to a daytime video. I've got more to show on this street. Night walk, the Bund.
Here I am in central Shanghai. To be more specific, I am at the Bund on the west side of the Huangpu River, the Puxi side. And the thing that the Bund is most famous for is the many European-style buildings here.
Notice how he says European-style buildings here. So everyone, when they see those buildings, they say European. And even Annette says, looks like an old city section in Europe. And this guy's blown away because he's like, wait, I'm in China. I was not expecting to see this style.
Quite different to what one might expect in China.
So people always have the same first thoughts. It's like, wait, this is not what I expected. So people know this isn't normal. But then they get told a fake history. They're like, oh no, the French came over here and Napoleon ordered this and the French were stationed and then they left. But while they were here for those 2 years, they created all these bloody buildings. That's not good enough. And that's a lie.
The signs here say this is the Gutzlaff signal tower, which I'm guessing must have been a signal for the boats on the river. And we'll look at some of the other buildings across the way.
There's a gold dome in that one building there.
Big building here, which is an office for ICBC. That stands for Industrial and Commercial Bank of China.
All
It's the
bank.
largest bank in China by assets, and also the first one I ever had an account with here in China. I've closed the account since then. And here it is, the signal tower. Yeah, it looks like a lighthouse. So I'm guessing it's for the boat. Over there, just across the Huangpu River, is Lujiazui and its modern sleek skyscrapers. But on this side, you've got older architecture.
How
Older
old?
European architecture
No,
here in
no,
Asia.
it's not European.
So what's the story with the Bund? Why is it called the Bund? And why does it have these architectural styles that seem a little odd for China? Well, first of all, Bund is a Hindi word that means an embankment.
To the
And
building.
since we're near a river, it's pretty accurate. But why is this place like it is? Well, that goes back to Chinese and European history.
No.
Let's go back. Oh, how far do we gotta go? 200 and...
So let me guess. He's going to go back 200-300 years. He's going to say that the Europeans were here in Asia, China. They had business. They did this. They did that. They did some kind of trading. They built some buildings and then they pissed off. Like none of that's the stupidest history. But I'm pretty sure he's going to sound like a 5-year-old and give us this crap right now.
70, 80 years about. China was pretty much completely closed to the outside world, with a few exceptions. For example, at Canton, or we call it Guangzhou now, there was trading under specific circumstances allowed by the Qing government. And there was trading in Macau, which had been a Portuguese outpost for quite some time. Pretty cool architecture here. The British Empire, with their love for trade, was not so happy with the Qing government being so closed to trade. They wanted more, especially because they wanted all the great stuff China had. The porcelain, or China, as we would come to call it. The silks, the tea, all the good stuff China had. And China, by contrast, was not so interested in the stuff the British had on offer. So the British did what people for years have been doing. When in doubt, resort to drugs. Yeah, you see, they started selling opium to try to deal with the trade imbalance. The Qing...
Sorry, I can't listen to that crap, and I don't want you guys to listen to it. Whatever he's talking about, he got from some textbook in a library, and it doesn't make sense. Look at the fallen angel structures here, all repurposed as banks. So this is the Bank of China. And you know what? We're going to go inside of the Bank
Back
of China.
then,
we're going to walk around.
This place was full of here. Most of the banks are headquartered in Beijing, since many of them are state-owned. This bull here looks a lot like the one in New York, and this guard here has told me it was actually made by the same person. I can't confirm that, but that's what the nice security guard here said. This building houses a bank that's not headquartered in Beijing. Shanghai Pudong Development Bank.
Look at it.
This might be their central headquarters, since they are a Shanghai bank. And it's a pretty impressive building, I would say. I'm assuming that red star at the top probably wasn't there back when they first built this building, since I think that's a symbol of the Communist Party.
Again, a row of... So this street here, the Bund, is famous because of, again, the fallen angel buildings. So there's a monument on the Bund that's a memorial for some kind of war thing. But guess what? that memorial wasn't always there, and there used to be a statue in place, and you'll never guess what statue was there. It was an angel statue that was referred to as the Victory Angel, right here in Shanghai on the Bund, but it has been removed. So they took it away, even though the angel was there in front of all its buildings, they removed it and put some kind of new monument. So this is why it's important, because now we know the angels, I mean, now we know their buildings, whether the angels are there or not. In places like China, or where we wouldn't expect to find it, they remove the angels, right? So now we know they removed them. I'm going to bring up ChatGPT again quickly so we can just confirm that. Yeah, okay, so forget about the lies of marble. Let me see. So we're going to talk about Victory Angel, Shanghai. So the Victory Angel Shanghai most likely refers to the winged victory statue atop the Allied War Memorial on the Bund in Shanghai. So this monument was unveiled in 1924 to commemorate Allied victory in World War I. So what it was, location, the Bund, officially associated with Allied European war victory, featured a female winged figure in classical style representing victory and peace. So there was an angel statue right there on the Bund that they removed and took away and replaced. So confirmation, Victory Angel, right there in front of the angel structures. Wait, do we get to go inside this video? Okay, I want to take you inside the church quickly, Shanghai. So here we go. Inside the
We're here inside the old HSB bank, and it's now a China bank. But this is magnificent building, and I'm going to show you the ceiling. There are 8 different murals.
Have a good night.
There's Tokyo and New York and London and
So we're inside the Bank of China now, and as you can see, you think you're in Rome all over again. I know the artwork doesn't look exactly like what we see in Europe, but it's definitely depicting the same style. We've got ceiling artwork. You got images of people that don't represent the Chinese Oriental people of this nation. We've got artwork that also depicts a woman that doesn't look like an Asian, Chinese, Oriental woman from this nation. Is depicting the same Lucifer sun, the morning star. It's got the same angel type symbolism with people floating around the sky and a woman on a mountain or in the clouds. It's the same crap, but yet we're in China, Shanghai. There's the griffin looking lion creatures on the edge that don't exist anymore, that we see immortalized in stone in Europe, but yet we're in Shanghai. Look at the artwork in the ceiling. Look at the marble columns. We already just did a whole spiel on marble and how it's mined, yet we find it in all of these structures worldwide, decked out in marble, top to bottom, all different colors of it. And like Annette said, her state capital has 16 different types of marble in it. How is that possible? How? We're in Shanghai. Where did they get access to this marble, and who allowed them to have it? The Europeans gave them marble so they could build it. Like, nothing adds up. We're inside of the HSBC bank headquarters here in Shanghai. We just saw it from the outside, from the Bund. Robin says, in my hometown, the biggest statue in the cemetery is the giant black angel. It's huge. Wow, Azazel. Yep, artwork with no ladder, no scaffolding or crane system, nothing. No, it's too much. More marble, marble floors, marble columns, like massive marble columns, all pretty much the same dimensions. These ones look like they're separate pieces put together. The ones in other places look like one solid piece. So I'm not sure if the lines were put in afterwards to fake that it was once extracted by humans, like just to anything. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't put it past the government. Okay. Okay, that's a different video. So I found something else in Shanghai that I have to share with you. So we're in a town or a city called Tianducheng in China. So the province, I believe, is Hangzhou, stunning Tianducheng. And this is called Mini Paris in China. So there's a whole town here that is identical to Paris, France, or near identical, even has its own Eiffel Tower. So like I said, the fallen angels created all over this earth. And the fact that we can find buildings that look exactly identical to other structures in the world that have no business being identical to each other proves that the fallen angels fell from heaven to earth and created all these cities and ruled as gods. Exactly. So how is there two Parises, one in Paris, France, and now one in Shanghai? And guess what? It's referred to as an abandoned city. So not many people live there, but people do live there, but it's not known for anything. It's not popping. It's deserted. Any video I've seen of people going there, the place is empty. It has got news coverage in the past as just being, wow, they just said that China spent billions on making a little Paris and now they've abandoned it. That's not, that story is ridiculous. What happened is they found it. They didn't know what to do with it. They hid it, made sure people didn't go there, and just said, well, we can't destroy it. It's too much. We'll just say we built it and abandoned it, and that's it. So Tianducheng, welcome to the beautiful city of Paris, China. So watch this. Welcome to China, Tianducheng. They have an Eiffel Tower. Look at the buildings. This wasn't just created by Chinese people to replicate. This was created by the fallen angels and has been here, but has not had media coverage until recently, right? You can see how old it is. It wasn't just recently built. Look at the structures. Wow. We've seen fountains exactly like that as well.
Tianducheng is located, surrounded by miles and miles of farmland. The Eiffel Tower replica is about 1/3 the size of the original and stands surrounded by copycat French architecture.
Copycat? There's nothing copycat about that. That is the architecture. You have horses jumping out of fountains in bronze stone or whatever. Look at this buildings. This is authentic fallen angel structures, not where you would expect to find it, because the narrative is so twisted and full of lies with all the fake European history and French this and Victorian that. When you find it in Asia and you find it in the Caribbean, it doesn't add up.
And just like the original, it's a great backdrop for newlyweds looking for an everlasting memory. You know what they say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Thank you, Alina. That's incredible.
Welcome to Tiandusheng, the replica city of Paris here in China. Built in 2007 to give wealthy people a taste of Europe. We're here to give you an insight.
No, that was not built in 2007. Look at that thing. This is solid. One piece all the way around. Look at this. All old angel architecture. Look, and there's so much of it. It's a whole city knocked up and now abandoned. Look at all the buildings, and they have their own Eiffel Tower, 1/3 the size.
We're here to give you an insight and give you a raw, authentic tour of this incredible place. Okay, let's begin the journey to the fake.
So he's just taken a train out of town to arrive in this city.
Falling off from the top, as you can.
And remember, when I showed you Bana Hills in Vietnam, so remember, we had to travel 5 kilometers by a cable car, the longest cable car in the world, just to get high up in the mountains to where you see the Golden Bridge and the stone hands holding it. And then you see the Pink Palace, like a Disney fairy tale. And what did they call that? They called that a French town or a French village high up in the mountains. They just chucked the French in there and everyone's busy, oh yeah, of course. It's fallen angel.
These apartments, these buildings, see what it's like inside as well. But unreal. Look, there's a square. It's like a plaza square. Insane. I can't believe what I'm seeing here, guys. Seeing the real deal. Oh my god.
Good to see you. Says, I can tell you that Australia was overlooked by the fallen when it comes to technology and architecture. Prior to 1788, well, we walked around Sydney, and Sydney was identical to Toronto, Knockout Rat. It had the same fallen angel architecture. We can go back to Melbourne, Sydney, Canberra, any New South Wales, any of the provinces and towns and cities in Australia. We can find the same thing there. New Zealand also. We're finding it in Japan. We're finding it in Vietnam. We're finding it in China. So this guy just visited
anything, yeah. But as you can see, like, there is more people than I thought. There is quite a crowd of people.
So it's pretty rusty or dirty for something that's only been there since 2007. It's been there a lot longer than that.
There's a water fountain. It's very known here in Paris as well, with all the statues and water fountains, the architecture. Unbelievable, guys.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ireland. Yeah. Nice to meet you, my friend. How's your day going?
Good,
nice to meet you. It's a pleasure.
Okay.
Have you been here before?
No, first time.
Where are you coming from?
Kazakhstan.
Ah, Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Astana.
Almaty.
Almaty.
You?
Ireland. It's a bit unfortunate. It will start picking up. I think people want a feeling of Europe. Oh, right. Now we see a lot of kind of rundown rooftops. I'm not even sure what that's saying. See the actual tiles on the roof? Wear away over time. So as you can see, we have a very similar structure to what the actual Paris itself has, in line with the Eiffel Tower down through the plaza. So you can see the Eiffel Tower straight in line with the actual structure over there. So we're going to go up there, climb the hill.
It's pretty legit. Paris in China? Are you kidding me?
And see.
Anyone know about this? I know I spoke about this years ago.
I think so. That's unfortunate, guys. It's fenced off over here.
Fallen angels.
They're actually renovating these places. You believe it or not. like the Eiffel Tower, they're renovating that place as well, like the green area under the Eiffel Tower. They're gonna bring it more alive, make it look more beautiful. But I wonder if you can walk over there.
Yeah. Little Paris in China. You can see it was on ABC News.
One of the strangest real estate stories you may ever see. Entire cities designed to look like Paris, Venice, London, even Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So why doesn't anybody want to live there? Here's ABC's Bob Woodruff.
Ah, Paris, one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Bonjour, comment ça va? The Eiffel Tower! Look at that place!
But wait a minute, Paris? Well, not exactly. Welcome to Tianzhucheng, China, an entire city built to look exactly like Paris, France, complete with iconic architecture, picturesque fountains, spacious public squares, and thousands of apartments to live in.
Ni hao. Hi.
Meet one of the inhabitants. Rachel moved here 6 years ago.
So what do you think of this being Paris right here?
Yeah, how do you think?
What, is it strange to you?
Yes, I think a little strange.
You live here?
I don't like it here.
She says she is not exactly feeling the joie de vivre.
See, so it's there. They have another London Bridge too. So it's not just Paris that's been replicated in China. Also, China's copy of London's Tower Bridge, and it's not a copy because it looks absolutely legit. So these guys are traveling to the bridge now. That is a replica of London's famous bridge over the Thames, but there's one here in China. And there it is in the background.
Wow, it's Wedding City. Wow.
So the more you travel and the more you research, the more you find out that the world isn't what it's all told to us, right? We're so brainwashed with the same 7 wonders of the world, the pyramids, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Statue of Liberty, and it's the same things, the Niagara Falls. But when you actually go and look, you're like, wait, there is way more wonders than what they're telling us. They're just hoping that we never catch on and travel enough to see most of it, but it's all there. They call it replicas and copies, and they try to do these news stories to just, but look, why would China copy and make the exact same London Bridge? And why would London allow it, right? It's always been there. This is proof of the fallen angels and the reign and control they had over this world. There it is. This is in China, not London. And as you can see, nothing about it looks fake or knockoff. It actually looks just as legit as the real London Bridge over the Thames. Yeah, they lied about China. China is a spectacular place, but we're from the Western world, and our governments, the British, the Commonwealth, the American, Canadian, tell us that everything's bad there, they're horrible, disgusting people, but it's not the truth. And when you see what China has to offer, then you realize, oh, I understand. Our governments tell us that because they want to keep their slaves here in the societies that they have to slave over them. Watch, I think I see an angel. Oh no, it's just a statue, but yeah. If we knew how amazing the rest of the world was, then we'd leave and go work and serve those nations. But then these governments be like, oh, we need our workers, we need our slaves. Look at the bridge. It looks so authentic. It's right there. Incredible. It looks better than London Bridge, actually. What the hell? So many places. What was this? Hermitage, Russia's. Yeah, there's a museum from Russia. I wanted to show you the Bund, an angel statue that was found. This is creepy. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Among the permafrost miners dug up a very realistic statue of an angel. On the internet, people immediately began to discuss what it could mean. Some say that it is a fallen angel who is one of the messengers of the apocalypse. Others say that it is a guardian angel, but you can exhale. As it turned out, the mysterious excavation is just a joke you could miners, and they made a lot of noise. Quick news.
Right?
The painting you're about to see is not only one of the most striking in the history of art, but also one of the most unsettling. Within it hides a gaze that says it all, a flash of rage, humiliation.
So this is a painting of Lucifer, the most famous painting that they found or they labeled, because it's the gaze. It just tells the whole story of this angel. It doesn't depict him as some ugly, monstrous looking, but actually a divine specimen for the human body. Has wings, looks angelic, but just looks so full of hate and jealousy. It's unbelievable. So we're going to get into this image too. The statue I just showed you, videos, there's a lot of videos about how they found it in Siberia, and it's a fallen angel and it looks creepy and hooded. So China, I want to show you Zhang Jiajie. So this is a national park in Huron province in China. Zhangjiajie National Park. Okay, we're going to get to a better video. Just so you can get an idea. I'm just trying to see, because I don't want to get caught up watching a video that's crap. This is a real place. It's in China. This is a 999 step climb to this hole in the mountain they call Heaven's Gate. Incredible. They got a cable cart system that takes you up into the mountains. And yes, this is where James Cameron got the inspiration to create Avatar and the world Pandora. It's from these Avatar mountains that were floating in the movie. So that's what they referred to them as, the Avatar floating mountains, right here in China's national park, Zhangjiajie. Yeah, it's beautiful. I kind of want to go to China now. Once you've explored and seen what I've seen, they have a glass bridge that goes across this national park and these mountains where you can bungee jump off of it. It's crazy. The fact that the bridge is glass and you can walk, I'll show it to you. It's just incredible. Here's the glass bridge that goes through the national park. Right there, you see it? It goes right across, and you can bungee jump from that bridge. Here's the stairway leading up to the mountain. I believe it's 999 steps. Oh, here it is in winter. Oh my God. So when I show you things about China and Asia that our governments say are dangerous places to travel to, they have bird flu, they have this disease, they're dangerous. I'm going to show you some of the craziest places you've ever seen in your life. And this is one of them. Zhangjiajie National Park is something that I would say the angels did not create. This is definitely the handiwork of God. Yeah, no bungee jumping for me either. Just walking across that glass bridge is enough. Nanny Bell says, hello, Nico. How are you and everyone doing? We're doing well. We're just going through some touring here through Europe, through Asia, in particular Shanghai, and some of the banks and buildings they had there that fall in line with the fallen angel structures
Did you know that the Avatar movies are based off a real place in China? This is Zhangjiajie National Park, one of the most unique places in the world, with natural pillars towering over the forest. This is one of China's most popular tourist destinations, with thousands of people visiting every day. Amelia and I are determined to beat the crowds and are actually staying inside the national park. Over the next 3 days, we're going to be exploring the area.
What a place. There's ancient cities in China that you need to see, and just wow. So Shanghai, there's the glass bridge. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. Yeah, walking along something like that, absolutely crazy. 590 feet off the ground. Yikes. Yeah, so lots to see and do, so much to show you. I was blown away when I discovered these Avatar Mountains and how beautiful this place is. Also, along with the Bana Hills in Vietnam. See what kind of footage these guys have. Even in rainy, foggy weather, it still just looks incredible. Yeah, the glass bridge is incredible. 590 feet above this park. Amazing. So the Marble Mountains, cathedrals, I think that should be enough for tonight. So yeah, we're going over quite a bit. I'm glad I showed you the process of marble. I should find some more clips. I have them saved all over the place. I'm just working on getting my organization a bit better. So when I come on, everything's in a neat place. That's why I created the playlist, Reign of Fallen Angels, and then I just tag everything and put it in there. But yeah, I've seen the struggle that our modern machines are struggling with when they're extracting these marble rocks. One, the lifter put its thing under the rock and tried to lift the rock, and the back end of the truck raised off the ground. So not easy. Today's machines are struggling with the mining of marble, so it doesn't add up that how centuries, if not millennia ago, without tools, they tried to tell us some ridiculous dragging team of oxen type strategy, but that's not viable. It's just not adding up. Yeah, so I'm glad we walked around Shanghai and checked out the Piazza Venezia in Rome. All marble, limestone, just incredible feat that these things even exist, and people just walk amongst it, and they don't question or feel any way when walking up these giant staircases with angels bearing down and gazing at you. People don't feel anything. They don't realize where we are, what's happening, what the history of this world is. They got all these churches around, like people just aren't getting it. Yeah, an incredible tour tonight. Not going to keep it too long. We'll stop at the 2 hours. So yeah, it's usually we do 3.5 hours, but it's Friday night. I've just been busy this week. Didn't put too much together, but just definitely wanted to add some more to the series, especially with the marble, because that's a material we're seeing used a lot worldwide, right? I can go even deeper into this marble thing and show you exactly where in the world marble is found, which colors, right? And then once we pinpoint that out, and then we start showing all the palaces, all these structures that all contain these color marbles, and we could start. It wouldn't work trying to date set everything, because we know the history is a lie. We just got to forget it, not waste our time with that crap, and be like, yes, we know the Bible has told us, the book of Enoch has told us that what happened in Genesis was the rain of fallen angels that God had to destroy with the great flood and imprison the angels and reset humanity. Yeah, you're welcome, Slade says, thanks for the great live. Sue says, do you think the government is working with the fallen angels? Of course they are. The government is in their buildings, the main buildings, right? So they definitely do serve them and practice what the angels taught, especially when it comes to inversion of gender. That's straight up fallen angel, right? To come down here and corrupt anything of God's image and his creation. So to have the inversion of gender is number one on the list and priorities for corruption amongst fallen angels. Yeah, you're welcome, Annette. Says thank you for your time and effort. We got so many more places to go. So many nations have so many structures, and we have so much material now. There's so many videos. Like I can go into each and every single building that I showed you on the Bund in Shanghai tonight. But I just went into the bank because it's pretty much the main one. But there's nothing we can't do, nowhere we can't go, and nothing we can't see in the world today. So we can easily put this history, this thing together. We can just blow history wide open and lay out all the holes and cracks in the narrative that don't add up and start. Like, I'm ready to challenge all these university professors and experts. They don't know crap. We already destroyed one PhD already this year with their fake science and trying to prove that Artemis 2 was real and flew around the moon. Crap, absolute crap. These people are full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. We're onto it. With this series, with this exposing of the fallen angels, this is huge, right? So again, it's the reign of fallen angels. Let me see, do I have any images? Yeah. Oh, let me just pull that off. Stop. Yeah, I see Annette was talking about some of those Capitol buildings in the States. Like I've got to wait to do that because there's 50 states. There's 50 state Capitol buildings and then some. And I plan on showing all of them. I plan on going inside and doing a walking tour of every single one. So we're going to have to do I'd say we can run through 5 Capitol buildings per night, tour each one. So it's going to take 2 weeks to go through all of the state's buildings. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But we're going to try and find some of the needles in the haystack worldwide, such as Barna Hills that you see on the screen, such as Las Lajas Sanctuary in Colombia, such as Neuschwanstein in Germany. Like, these castles are built in the most extravagant places that humans can't even really get to easily these days, let alone get there and construct such beauties. Yeah, traveling is very expensive, Sue, especially because they scam us with the prices of a fake material such as jet fuel. Planes do not fly on fuel, they just fly on turbine. They fly on air. Like, my drone does not fly on fuel, it just flies in the air. So yeah, they con us, but thankfully we can somewhat get a good feel and idea for places in the world, because even with money, you don't have the time to go to everywhere. So we're making the best of it. So I'm happy we can save some bucks and some headaches traveling places, not really knowing. So especially doing this, if you are going to travel, you're going to know where not to go and where you want to go and where the real cool sights are to see in this world. Yes, Crystal Gem, it's good to see you. I hope you're having a great night and you have an even better weekend. Yep, thank you, fam. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, there's so much going on in this world. Everything's a scam. Yeah, appreciate you sharing all of this. Perfect. Yeah, especially now with the fake energy crisis. Yeah, so I'm focused on exposing the reign of fallen angels. I'm proving that even when Jesus walked this earth for 33 years, that he walked amongst structures such as this, with pink marble, with golden angels carved above it, the archways. Jesus spoke of this in Mark 13. He says that there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. These buildings, although very impressive, did not impress Jesus. One of the largest painting in the Louvre is the wedding at Cana, with Jesus turning water into wine at the wedding, and it was at one of these locations. Every city, every square, silent angels everywhere. And this is the artwork we see depicted in all castles, all palaces, in the ceilings, massive, is angels falling from heaven because they lusted after human women. So thank you everyone for joining me on tonight's tour, a shorter one, but I will be working on a lot more and preparing the next tours, the next cities, the next structures and buildings. There's absolutely so much to see. It's not going to be hard putting these together. We just got to pick a city, walk around it, go into the buildings, and we're going to see the exact same thing, the exact same signature and handiwork of the fallen angels, not humans with oxens and rope and pulley systems dragging marble out of marble mountains. That is the stupidest thing I've heard. I'm glad we all had a good laugh when the AI tried to convince us that yes, they were able to do this. They pulled the rock with rope and oxen. No one was buying that, so it's great. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night. If you've been watching and listening to this, you are the resistance.